Right then, hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you, yes you, happen to be. My name is Paul, I'm also called Knick-Knack, and I'm the brains behind the daily teaser, which you'll find tucked underneath this eye in the corner here, alongside a lot of my TV reviews and a lot of stuff about my movie reviews. You'll see a few of those floating about. Today is Wednesday, almost Thursday, but today at the moment it is still Wednesday the 9th of February, and last night, Tuesday, I saw the horror film Antlers. I thought I should tell you what I thought of it. Based on Nick Antosca's The Quiet Boy, Antlers opens by showing us a little boy called Aidan stuck in his father's car outside an abandoned mine, while his father, Frank, Scott Hayes, and a colleague are working in a homemade, deeply buried meth lab stuck in the middle of this abandoned mine outside the small Oregonian town of Siskers Falls. It's only after Frank warns Aidan not to enter the mine that Aidan ignores him, only for the something that attacked Frank to attack Aidan. 3 weeks later, we meet Julia, Carrie Russell, a teacher who's returned to the town and moved in with her brother Paul, Jesse Plemons, who's the local sheriff. After the death of their abusive father, she feels her brother needs company, but finds dealing with memories of their childhood home rather troubling. Just as troubling is the little she knows of Lucas Weaver, Frank's eldest son. His drawings and some of the things he says in class tell Julia that Lucas has got problems at home. It's only when she discreetly heads for the Weaver family home she finds a house in need of serious amounts of care and repair, and no sign of Frank or Aidan, the two other members of the family she knows from the school records, are there. What she doesn't realise is that, at the young age of 12, Lucas has his family locked away in the attic. Frank and Aidan are seriously ill. Now, what did I make of this film? What did I make of it? And should I be adding a thing about stars? Yes, I briefly should. For those of you who've never seen my film reviews before or read the written version on my blog, That's All Peculiar, I tend to give a star rating from 0, go and avoid it, all the way up to 4 stars, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That means go get that film now. If you see a 4-star review on my blog or here on YouTube, you've missed it, and more fool you for doing so. If you see a 0-star rating, avoid the bloody thing like the plague. 1, 2, and 3 are obviously sort of in between. 1 star means it's nice to see. 2 stars means it's worth watching. It's not necessarily a good film or a bad film, but it's worth watching. 3, keep a copy of the film because it's worth a second look. And as I've said before, 4 stars, go get. Hopefully that's clear. It should explain what I'm going to give Antlers later on. At any rate, what, I hear you ask, did I think of Antlers? What did I think of this film? I think we have a film, like most other things in life, it has pros and cons. Let's start with a con, shall we? I'm not sure totally that I like a fast-paced movie, a wham-bam action film, although there's times I'm in the mood for something. I don't know if I can think of one that goes along at a hugely fast pace, although distant memory tells me the Keanu Reeves action piece, Speed, goes along at a nice fast race. It's a speeding bus being driven by Sandra Bullock with Keanu shouting his head off at her, but it's fast, it's zippy, bangs along nicely. The recent version of Dune, which I've also reviewed, that goes along at a nice pace, I think. Not too fast, not too slow, changes pace dramatically as and when needed. The Babadook and The Awakening are comparatively slow overall, but again, they're well paced, I think, and also worth watching. By contrast, I think Antlers is possibly not necessarily as well paced as it could be. It starts slowly, and for my money, takes a little longer than it could do to pick up speed. I felt and it did so in a way that had me frequently pausing to see how much longer was left. I don't know that that's necessarily a good sign. I'm slightly bored and metaphorically checking my watch. Something else that caught me. You've heard by now the phrase show don't tell. Yeah? No? Whatever. It's an old saw that basically means literally what it says. That sometimes it's easier to show us something than give us a long bit of convoluted explanation about it. We get told, give you an example, once or twice, that Julia and Paul were abused as children by their alcoholic father. Indeed, we get a flashback that tells us of that. One I'm not sure that we're justified in seeing, or at least it came out of nowhere, as far as I can see, because it's not really totally relevant to the plot. It's a side issue that maybe could have done with being told about. Maybe in a line or two, maybe in a line or two there. It's not necessarily something we needed to see. Sometimes show don't tell is good. Sometimes
it's 22 hours.
Thank you, Katie. Sometimes it's not. A more useful flashback while we're on the subject was where we see Frank and Aidan arrive home. It's about 30 minutes into the film, as I recall. Frank literally sets up the locks on the attic room so that he and Aidan can't escape, and he makes sure Lucas knows, keep us locked in here. That was far more relevant than the abuse scene, I felt. It could have come a little earlier in the film, maybe nearer the start, but it was helpful and it was good to see, and it was actually relevant to the plot. There's other scenes as well that, for me, could have been better done. We find out of a half-eaten body, for example, and we get to see Paul Meadows, Julia's brother, investigating the half of the body that's in the mine. And it's a scene that introduces us to a character called Stokes, played by Graham Greene, as a local expert on tribal beliefs. And he's not properly introduced to us. That seemed obvious to me. As did the twisty little ending that implies a possible sequel. Nicely done. A little bit obvious, maybe, and once you see it there, you're not surprised. It's not a surprise ending, it's just an obvious one. It's nice to see it, but it's obvious. On the upside, Antlers is set in Oregon, but filmed in British Columbia on the western coast of Canada, and the locations, the actual locations, even down to the rickety, industrial, broken down bits of the mine, are absolutely bloody gorgeous. The slow pace and all those long camera shots in this film are... They basically give us a chance to see and possibly envy the Pacific West of North America. The acting, again, I don't think the cast are going to win any Oscars, but the two leads, Jesse Plemons and Kerry Russell, are competent. The rest of the supporting cast all do their job well, with a script that's maybe not stunning, but certainly competently done. It's acting and writing that are very well done and suitably acceptably done. The creature actually is something of a highlight. It's a version of the old Native American First Nation Wendigo myth, a cannibalistic evil spirit. And it's nicely done. Frank transforms from a human being into the Wendigo, and it's quite gruesome and grim to see. And when it's transformed into the fully antlered monster, the creature's shot in such a way that we only get to see the things Frank's become silhouetted against the background. We get to see unnerving hints and shadows rather than a man in a rubber suit. And we also get the real horror at the end of the movie of realising that Aidan, the youngest member of the family, is going the same way. Frankly, I am going to be leaving Antlers with 2 stars. In other words, it's a film I'm going to suggest you see. It's not going to be for everyone. Some of us will find the pace a little slow. Some of us will find it perfect. It's worth watching, though. Even if it's not a stunner, it is competently done entertainment. I'm giving it 2 stars. I think you might like Antlers, although I know it's not going to be up everyone's street. At any rate, it's Wednesday night. I'm going to sign off. There's going to be another teaser tomorrow. Please keep an eye out for them. Please also keep an eye out for my next movie review, although I don't know when that's going to be. You have a good time. Take care, and don't yell at the cat. Have a good day.